Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sai Nair from Kirin Advisors. I welcome you all to the virtual roadshow of Exim Routes Limited. So, today we'll provide a brief overview of the company and its innovative business model. So, Exim Routes Limited is a global platform focused on sourcing, trading, and end-to-end supply chain management of recycled paper for Indian paper mills. The company operates through hybrid model powered by its proprietary AI-enabled digital platform IRIS. Its product portfolio includes multiple grades of recovered papers such as white grades, brown grades, and mechanical grades, which are supplied as a raw material to paper manufacturers across India. Okay. So viewers, since the session is limited to 45 minutes, we may only be able to address a limited number of questions. So we appreciate your understanding. So now I would like to introduce the management team. So from the management team, we have Mr. Anshul Bansal, the Chief Financial Officer. Welcome to the roadshow, sir. We
Thank
have
you.
Mr. Saurabh Kumar, Chief Product and Technology Officer. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Uh, from the merchant banking team, we have Mr. Bhuvan, research analyst from Narnolia Financial Services Limited. Welcome to the roadshow, sir. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So now I would like to play a short corporate video of the company.
Paper is everywhere in offices, packaging, classrooms, and homes. After it is used, its story doesn't end. At Exim Roots, we give paper a new life through an efficient global recycling value chain. Every day, recovered paper travels through yards, traders, logistics partners, and mills, completing a cycle that brings paper back into our world. Yet the supply chain is complex. Information, pricing, quality, and financing sit in silos, slowing trade and limiting opportunity. To thrive, the circular economy needs visibility and faster decisions. At the yard level, recyclers work in a volatile market where demand and prices change daily. Many still rely on calls or brokers to find buyers. Without live price visibility, they risk selling below value. Quality disputes and delayed payments lock working capital, limiting growth. On the other end of the spectrum, mill owners face constant trade-offs between cost, delivery timelines, and quality. Sourcing from many suppliers creates variability. One poor batch affects yield. Forex spreads, bank charges, and shipment delays further tighten already stretched margins and cash flow. For logistics providers, customers expect the best mix of speed and cost. Port congestion, container shortages, and dynamic freight rates make planning unpredictable. Optimizing every shipment requires constant adjustment and precision. Bankers and financiers struggle with limited data. Assessing creditworthiness and matching documents take time. Without transparency, risk is mispriced or credit is restricted, slowing global recyclables trade. Across the chain, processes remain manual and fragmented. Information, pricing, logistics, and finance exist in silos. Transactions move slower than demand, and opportunities are lost between people and paperwork. Exim Roots is bridging these gaps. Through ERIS, the Exim Roots intelligence system, yards, mills, logistics providers, and bankers work together on one digital platform with real-time pricing, verified quality, optimized shipping, and integrated financing. The value of such integration becomes clearer when we look at India's $2 billion paper import market. Roughly 60% is purchase cost, 30% is logistics, and 10% covers financing, forex, and quality expenses. Each layer a challenge we help solve and make more efficient. Globally, the recycled paper market is worth around 60 billion US dollars, while the broader recyclables ecosystem, metals, plastics, and glass, touches nearly 600 billion US dollars. Every bale moved through Exim Roots adds to a cleaner planet. We have already recycled over 100 metric tons of paper and helped save about 2,000 trees. And we are only starting. At Exim Roots, we believe in paper and we believe in technology. Together, they shape a smarter and more sustainable future for recycling.
Okay. Now I would like to hand over the floor to Anshul sir so that he could just provide us with the journey of the company. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sai, and welcome everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. So, next slide, please. So, hopefully, the corporate video was helpful in terms of getting you to understand how the value chain works. Ultimately, if I talk about us as Exim Roots, uh, we are a recyclables platform company, and our vision is to become the biggest global platform for all recyclables that we choose to engage in, whether that it be paper today or plastics and metals tomorrow. And we want to do this via technology and building smart, efficient solutions that deliver quality, consistency, and reliability in the entire ecosystem. Next slide, please. So, I mean, you already saw this in the video, but just a quick recap. Overall, the global recyclables market is almost $600 billion. We are currently focused on paper, and even within paper, which overall is a $60 billion market, including imports and exports across the globe. Today, specifically, our serviceable addressable market is the $2 billion, which essentially is the recycled paper that is coming into India and is used by paper mills as raw material to produce finished goods. So, what's the problem that we are solving? Again, if you look at the value chain, the industry convention and how it works today is that between the yard, which is the place that sorts, recycles, and bales all these grades of paper that we spoke about, and the mills that are the end users as a raw material. Today, there are a bunch of intermediaries, right? So, if I give a simple example, let's say you're a paper mill in India who that wants to procure OCC, which is your Amazon type boxes, right? If they have to procure that, typically they would essentially call the network of three, four, five brokers or commission agents, right? Who would be based in India. They would then call up their principal, which would typically today be a European or American company. They would then call up their brokers in individual countries or yards, and that's how the transaction would take place, right? That's one. The second problem is that this entire process and value chain that I spoke about is manual, offline, and inefficient. And lastly, if you look at the nature of the product, this is not a certified, standardized quality product, right? This is typically post-consumer, post-industrial recyclables, which means there is a lot of variability in quality even on a day-to-day basis, right? So giving that transparency of quality and the assurance of quality becomes critical for the mills who are using it as raw material. What are we doing which is different and what is our USP? So first and foremost, even before I go to our data and technology bet, um, from a business model perspective, there are two things that are unique about us. One is we buy and sell direct. So we directly source from the yards. That allows us a visibility on pricing, but more importantly on quality. We source directly from yards. We manage the entire shipping line logistics network through our freight forwarders. And then we sell direct to the mills, right? And basically, what that means is full control, full visibility, full transparency across the value chain, right? The second thing that's unique about us, and I'll come to a journey in a bit, is our model. So we are the only Indian company in the space. So if you look at the market, $2 billion, 15,000 crores worth of recycled paper comes into India every year. we are the only Indian company in this space, a space that has traditionally been dominated by Europeans and American companies. And the thing that's unique about us is we have set up these foreign subsidiaries across 5 locations that essentially help us get connections to yards and sourcing. So that is one thing that is quite unique about us and makes us different beyond our data and technology that I'll come to in a bit. Next slide, please. So if I talk a bit about our journey, Exim Roots was founded by our promoter, who is a paper engineer from IIT Roorkee. After spending a few years in the industry, actually commissioning some of these machinery in the paper mills that today we count as our customers, he realized this problem and challenge of recycled paper value chain and started off as a proprietorship firm back in 2013. Exim Roots, in its current way, shape, and form, took birth in 2018-19, which is when we got incorporated as a private limited company and opened the first subsidiary in Singapore, right? And from since then, with a team of less than 5 members and revenue less than 5 crores, over the last 5 to 7 years, we have grown to a 100+ crore company with subsidiaries in Singapore, US, UK, Europe, South Africa, beyond India, and a team of 15+ members as well. So next slide, please. So speaking about our team, and this I would say very much is our second USP. Meaning most of our competitors in the industry are not technical people, right? What we pride ourselves on is the strength and diversity of our experiences. Most of our senior management team over here are paper and polymer engineers from IIT Roorkee. So I myself, as an example, Mr. Kumar, who's also in the call as well. We're all paper engineers from IIT Roorkee. So that obviously gives us a technical foundation, which we pride ourselves in quite a lot, and our customers who are paper mills also value. Apart from that, in terms of how we are structured, almost all of our senior management has a very unique role that we are geographically distributed and almost have dual roles in the organization. So if I speak about myself, I'm based out of UK, and my one hat is I head up our UK and Europe business and sourcing, whilst globally I also head up finance. Similarly, Mr. Yogesh Shishodia, who's not here today, but he is our global CEO, comes with deep experience in supply chain and operations, selling out of Southeast Asia, based out of Singapore, heads up our Asia sourcing, right? And then similarly, Mr. Saurabh Kumar, who we'll talk to later, heads up our technology division out of US as well as our US business, and comes with more than 10+ years experience in Amazon before this. Yep. So speaking about our revenue pillars and the business, obviously the one bit is our core, which is paper, right? So we directly buy and directly sell. So that obviously becomes one of our core in terms of paper recyclables. Our plan is to expand to other recyclables on the back of our platform. Second is, of course, our ERIS platform, right? That's one of the core features. That is what has allowed us to scale our monthly sourcing 4x whilst maintaining our bottom line quite strongly over the last 12 to 18 months. And again, Mr. Saurabh will talk about ERIS in a bit more depth in a bit. Third one is because of our unique global structure, where we have our holdco company in India, subsidiaries outside, and we're able to offer mill the options of sourcing direct as well as via high seas. So that also gives us pretty good leverage in terms of forex management. And then lastly, on the back of our technical skill set and global networks, opportunistically, we also get ancillary revenues from logistics services and consulting to our partners, yards, and customers. So over to Mr. Saurabh to give a bit more depth and flavor about our technology platform and ERIS. Saurabh.
All right, thanks, Anshul, and hello to everyone wherever you are. As Anshul mentioned, I am Saurabh Kumar. I serve as the Chief Product and Technology Officer at Exim Roots, based out of the US. I have at least more than a decade worth of experience building various technology products at Amazon. and I'm very excited to walk everyone on this live stream about what ERIS is and how it helps. So starting with full form. So ERIS stands for Exim Roots Intelligence System. It's a proprietary B2B digital platform developed to centralize and streamline recyclable paper trade operations, and can extend to other verticals as well, plastics, metals, whatever we choose to go into the future. ERIS is positioned at the core of Exim's business, serving as the enabling infrastructure for inventory visibility, transaction execution, data-driven decision-making across suppliers, mills, and our internal teams. I'll talk about ERIS in, I suppose, two different models. One is how it helps the Exim operations, and the other bit, which we've started exploring recently, which is to make more commercial technology products. So sell it to potential customers, sell our technology to potential customers. So starting with how it helps our operations, ERIS today is, it serves as our supply chain operations and offer management system. So it helps the Exim teams to manage supplier inventory. We use it to add demand and supply offers that we get from customers and our suppliers. And it helps convert them into purchases and sales orders. Now, we've added a few smarts using AI and machine learning capabilities to make smarter and faster decisions on selling to customers, at what price to sell and how much to sell. And we have also started automating a lot of manual and redundant processes, so which helps us to increase our sales velocity, reduce our operational cost, and generally be a one-stop shop where we can see and manage all our operations. The second thing it does for our operations is it also helps with customer and partner enablement. So when I say customer, I mean paper mills, and various partners include various freight forwarders or folks that help us manage logistics to execute the trade. And it also includes our suppliers, for instance. So it's sort of a CRM or a customer relationship management system as well, that helps track where our customers and suppliers are in the deal pipeline, and allows us to communicate with them back and forth, whether it is to send them offers or ask them for competitive bids and so on and so forth. The third thing that ERIS helps with Exim operations today is just serve as a central place for market intelligence and data layer. So there are three data layers within ERIS. One is we have aggregate view of the recycled paper market across all mills in the country, in India specifically. And so using that, we can derive historical pricing and grade data across a broader market. We also store and save real-time trade information that is generated through the trade and transactions that happen on ERIS. And the third is our procurement and sales teams. They get on a lot of calls with customers and suppliers, and they're able to input the information that they gather on those calls. We call them field data. ERIS enables our teams to store that information in the system. And what that results is basically a very dynamic view of the current conditions of markets that helps us determine as a team how much to sell, who to sell, and where to sell it, with the goal being to increase profitability. Moving forward, we're also now exploring ways to commercialize our technology. So what I mean by that is, over time, I see our technology to be another pillar, as Anshul mentioned in the slide before. I see it as another pillar for revenue generation. And the more we scale software and technology, the more margins we can make on it. So we're spending a lot of time now in thinking about what technology products or what capabilities do we have today that we can sell to, say, paper mills or suppliers or logistics providers. So one of the first things we're doing right now is we've developed an online procurement tool for Indian paper mills, which is, I guess from an industry point of view, is sort of a new way for mills to browse, compare offers and prices, and then also place orders online itself. A few of the benefits that we've heard from mills that we presented this tool to. One is we hope to pass on any customer and any cost savings that we experience as a company, because whatever offers we have access to as Exim, we directly push it to customers as well. No additional intermediaries. So we want to put more value in the pockets of mills. Second, we've also integrated various logistic options within this online procurement tool. So mills have the flexibility to choose whether they want the cheapest freight or the earliest arriving freight based on their needs. Third, we've simplified the ordering process. So from the time a mill sees something they like to buy to the time that they actually place an order, it won't take more than 7 or 8 taps or clicks on their phone. We have also introduced smart recommendations. So based on the data that I was talking about earlier, the market intelligence data, we know what the mills buy, what they prefer, from what country do they buy, and what price do they buy that. So we use that information to surface more relevant and personalized offers and trade deals to our customers. So I hope that was a helpful overview of what we do today and how it helps our business as well as our future plans to commercialize our technology. I will hand it. I think next we're going to see a quick overview of a short video on ERIS that hopefully summarizes everything that I've mentioned, and then after that it'll be over to Anshul for closing remarks.
Every day, recovered paper travels through yards, traders, logistics partners, and mills, completing a cycle that brings paper back into our world. Yet the supply chain is complex. Information, pricing, quality, and financing sit in silos, slowing trade and limiting opportunity. To thrive, the circular economy needs visibility and faster decisions. So Exim Roots united industry experts, data scientists, and technologists to build something monumental. A purpose-built AI platform for the paper recycling value chain. Meet ERIS, the Exim Roots Intelligence System, an AI-enabled B2B platform that connects yards, mills, logistics, and finance partners behind the scenes, unifying historical pricing, real-time trades, and field insights into actionable intelligence. For mills, ERIS provides access to verified suppliers, quality insights, and intelligent market recommendations, making planning easier, sourcing faster, and decisions more confident. For yards and MRFs, ERIS expands reach, ensures competitive pricing for the right quality, and guarantees payment and quality assurance. Beyond the marketplace, ERIS powers Exim's internal operations, automating POs, SOs, and partner recommendations, so Exim can focus on enabling end-to-end trade solutions. Until now, ERIS connected the ecosystem behind the scenes. Today, we are bringing that intelligence directly to mills. Browse all supply offers, compare quality and price, evaluate shipping options, and place bids on a self-serve platform. ERIS Intelligence empowers mills to make faster, smarter, cost-optimized, and transparent procurement decisions. ERIS's open marketplace is the engine of a broader vision, a place where mills, yards, traders, logistics, and finance partners all work together, creating a cycle of shared value and smarter decisions. Together, they drive a more connected, efficient, and sustainable paper ecosystem. By giving stakeholders access to timely signals, pertinent grades intelligence, and a clearer market view, ERIS helps the industry operate with clarity and confidence.
Anshul sir, you're on mute.
My bad, yeah. Sorry, just to close from my side. So where we are, where we aim to be. Like I said, the just the Indian paper recycling market is 15,000 crores. Today, we basically have approximately 1% market share. The largest player in the space has around 8 to 10% market share. It's a huge long tail that we can capture. Our aim and ambition is to grow 4 to 5x in the next 3 to 5 years. Right? In terms of the key operational metrics, today we have got more than 30 yards already onboarded. We work with the top 20 to 50 mills in India. Um, I mentioned 6 million tons per annum of recycled paper comes into India per annum. On our platform, we already have inventory of more than a million tons of that. And the top 20 to 50 mills that we work with have an aggregate demand of more than that. So we've got more demand than supply on our platform. Um, in terms of cash turnover cycle, it's pretty healthy. We operate our cash roughly around 8 to 10x, depending on which countries and transit times and all of that, generating a pretty healthy ROE of 70 to 80%. If I take a long view forward in terms of how it's going to operate, obviously three key financial levers to scale. We mentioned we want to bring in more invoicing financing partners on our platform, which will help with the working capital, increase our credit limits, and obviously grow revenues on the back of ERIS and the commercialized technology products that Saurabh mentioned earlier. Right, so over to Bowen.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you. So I'm Bhuvan, representing Narnolia Financial Services. So the anchor bidding date is on 11 December, which is tomorrow, and IPO opens for subscription on 12 December, which is day after tomorrow. So the entire IPO issue size is 43.73 crores, and the price band is set between 83 to 88 rupees per share. So the objects of the issues are as follows. So 14.5 crores is to be spent towards the expenses for development and maintenance of the ERIS platform, and 9 crores to be spent towards working capital, and 7.1 crores to be spent for investment in office space and accommodate new hires. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So now, thank you for the detailed presentation, sir. So now I think we can start with the Q&A session. So I request all the viewers to post your questions in the comment box. Okay. So, sir, we have our first question from Mr. Yash Mistry. He's asking, could you briefly explain Exim Route's business model and core segments you operate in?
Yes. Thank you, Yash. So as I was mentioning before, the core business model of Exim Roots is managing the entire supply chain from sourcing to quality assurance to logistics to delivery at our paper mills. If I were to give a Tilda summary, that basically involves sourcing directly as Exim and selling to paper mills as Exim. Right? The core segment that we operate in today is the paper recycling segment, mostly focused on the Indian paper mills. That being said, we actually do have an international presence as well. So beyond Indian paper mills, we actually also serve mills in Europe, Africa, as well as we have done Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Southeast Asia in the past. Right. So there's a much more bigger play over here in terms of geographical segment as well beyond India.
Okay, thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Mr. Sudeep Shastri. He's asking, what are the primary revenue streams for the company? Trading, services, processing, etc.
Yep. So first things first, Mr. Sudeep, just to clarify for everyone, we actually don't really process or store inventory. Right? This is a very free flowing dynamic supply chain at play. In terms of our revenue streams, we've got four main revenue streams. The first one is our core, which is our trading. That's when we buy and sell, essentially, and make our margins on that. Second one, in terms of services, that is basically our ERIS services. So we actually do, for a select number of mills, provide ERIS in a direct subscription format. Right now, they use it mostly for market intelligence and some of the more advanced features that Saurabh mentioned about, right? So that's obviously one. Beyond that, in services, there's forex management as well. As we're explaining, we have a high seas route through which we help forex management for our mills. So that is the other revenue stream for the company. And fourth one is ancillary services, which is essentially where we use our expertise to provide consultancy services to select partners or suppliers or mills who again want intelligence or connects or market intelligence right through us. So those are the four primary revenue streams.
Okay, thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Mr. Sumit Pawar. He's asking, how does IRIS strengthen your business model compared to traditional trading and procurement players?
Anshul, do you want to start, and I can add on after?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and just from a very simplistic sense, if you look at the challenges in the traditional trading and procurement model, there are three key challenges, right? First is just visibility, right? Who has how much supply of what grades in terms of sourcing, and who wants to buy what, when, at what price. Just that pricing transparency and inventory and offer management, that is completely broken in the traditional world. Second is, like I said, quality, right? There is no visibility or even assurance of quality when an Indian paper mill is, let's say, sourcing from a UK or a US supplier, right? So that's obviously one. And the third one is the ability to optimize across all three, right? So if you look at the three parameters, there's price, there is quality, and there is delivery timelines. And all three can be optimized to get to the lowest possible landing cost, what you would hear as total cost optimization. That does not happen today in this industry. All three of them are inherently strengthened by ERIS, essentially. And the other thing I would say is just purely so that's the core business model strengthening perspective. The other bit is from the shape of our P&L. Right? So because we are actually digitally enabling our entire operations, we are able to scale without actually adding the same level of costs that you would. Just to give you a small tidbit, 23-24 versus 24-25, on a monthly level, we 4x'd our sourcing. We actually did not increase our team size because we made ERIS live for our internal teams in April 2024. And essentially the same team was able to 4x the volume and handle all the operations, right? Just with the strength of the ERIS platform. Over to Saurabh to add more nuance to that.
Yeah, thanks, Anshul. So yeah, just adding a few things to what Anshul said. I think ERIS helps us with both top line and over, in the end, bottom line as well. So if I go one by one in terms of top line, I think I think that there's an important nuance in the question compared to traditional trading and procurement players. I think ERIS in itself, at least we view it as its own business vertical in the future, having its own business model. So, for example, today, traditional trading is, there are margins on every trade, and you sort of develop key strategies to figure out how to increase that margin or how to sell to most players. Whereas we will experiment with different models with ERIS to increase our top line. Could be subscription, could be transaction, could be facilitation fee for trades, and so on and so forth. So I view it as a whole new revenue stream in the future. And actually, we've started work on it right now. We have a few mills who've signed up, and we do get some revenue from them, but we hope to scale it more. And then the other way that it strengthens our business model, especially compared to traditional trading and procurement players, is I think there's faster and more accurate decision making because we use technology, and especially AI and machine learning capabilities. So I mean, the whole point of going online was to scale either processes or decisions much faster. So banking on what computers do best, which is calculations, and using those calculations. What I mean calculations is figuring out what the accurate price is, what price we think others are selling on, and what makes us competitive in the market in terms of the grade, quantity, and price we offer, and doing those micro calculations across thousands and thousands of transactions to actually enable our team to quickly respond, react, and sell to the customers in a way that convertibility meaning the customer saying yes, is increased. So we use a lot of statistical modeling and technology to model that decision making. So faster decision making leads to increased velocity. Um, Also reduction in costs because a computer is doing a lot of that. A human is reviewing in the end, but a computer is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So sorry, recapping. Increased sales velocity, reduction of costs, and making our operations more efficient and faster. Because there are a lot of processes, there are a lot of things in the supply chain that can be automated, like document generations, and this is a document-heavy industry, and we automate all of that, save both manual hours as well as increase accuracy of those documentations. So I think those would be the key differentiators versus the traditional way that the industry operates.
Okay, thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Mr. Ankit Sarodia. He's asking which grades or product categories offer the highest margins.
I mean, a lot of products and lots of grades, Ankit. But just a general rule of thumb, what you'll find is, in terms of margins, the what we call the white paper grades, right? So these are the really clean grades. Think like your shredded office paper that you would shred and collect, right? Those, as an example, would typically be the highest margins, and then if you look at your voluminous grades, think like classic example as your OCC, or corrugated container boards. Those, as an example, would typically have the lowest margin, essentially as well. So that's a simplistic view. We actually look, and that is another one of ERIS's strength, and how we work is we look at each and every combination and transaction, not just from a gross profit percentage or gross margin percentage lens, but also from an absolute dollar lens, as well as, most importantly, from an ROI lens, right? So all those three things come to the picture.
Okay, thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Miss Navya Bhatnagar. She's asking what quality checks or assurance processes are followed at the procurement stage.
Yeah. So we actually have a two-sided quality check assurance process in place. First is whenever we're onboarding any new yard, right? We actually onboard the yard, typically have a physical visit, go and test it ourselves, all the grades, take the inventory, the quality metrics. So that obviously happens for new yards that come onto the platform. Besides that, depending on geography and stuff, we also have regular audits and checks in place on the sourcing side, right? And this is irrespective of when they're loading or when they're not. Third is sometimes we'll also do spot checks. That's when we do like pre-inspection checks at the time of loading and all of that as well, right? So those are three kind of quality checks or assurances that happen on the sourcing side. On the other side of the spectrum, like I said, we are the only Indian company in the space, and we have technical people. So we actually have an in-house technical and quality assurance team. And what they do is when shipments do come to the mill, and let's say there is some complaint or whatever it is, we have a pretty standard process in place that the mill will call our quality assurance team within the first 24 hours. Our team will go there, no matter where they are in India, and they will check it, inspect it, and most importantly, the reason for doing this two ways is so we can feedback number one, the quality to the yard in place. Second is then our data and tech team also incorporates that feedback onto the platform. So Saurabh mentioned as an example, there's recommended offers in place for mills when they're procuring. The system knows that this mill, when they bought this grade from this yard, there was an issue or not issue, how happy they were with the quality and so forth, right? So
Yeah, thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Ms. Sadhika Narang. She's asking, what were the key drivers behind the revenue increase in FY25?
yep, twofold. One is we opened up our UK and South Africa subsidiaries in 2024, which were major sourcing hubs for us essentially through the year. If I take a step back in terms of our monthly sourcing, we essentially 3x'd, almost 4x'd actually our monthly sourcing through the year in terms of MRR, right? And then obviously the other key bit was the ERIS platform, because you can increase sourcing, but if you don't have the backend to kind of do the trade and execute it, it's moot. And so the launch of the ERIS platform in March, April 2024 meant that we could also actually move at scale and speed.
Okay, thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Ms. Divya Daga. She's asking, will IRIS lead to margin improvement? If yes, what's the ideal margin we are expecting coming forward?
Yeah, that's a tough one to answer. I mean, let me just put my simplistic take on it, and then Saurabh is much better placed in terms of the actual ERIS one. The short answer is it should, because over time, what we expect is that ERIS is its own vertical, right, and creates direct revenues, right, which are usually pretty high margin in the first place. If I then take a step back and just talk purely from a trading perspective, right, that will very much vary and depend on the scale, because as we scale and we start to go into more voluminous grades, there will be a balance between gross margin versus this. I mean, if I can pick one tidbit which gives me confidence that the answer is yes, is if you look at our 2024 versus 24-25 financials, as we scaled and moved towards slightly lower gross profit grades and categories, our GP actually went down a little bit across the 2 years. But interestingly, because of ERIS and the operational strength and the need to not scale the team, our PBT and PAT margins are actually improved. So we went 1 percentage point down on GP, but we actually managed to claw more than that in EBITDA and PAT, essentially, right? And that's just kind of a core part of the business. I don't know, Saurabh, if you have anything to add on that point.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Yes, technology and ERIS generally should lead to margin improvement, because as you scale, your costs are for costs of development. But then if you sell it to multiple customers or multiple stakeholders for that matter, your incremental cost of development for getting each new stakeholder doesn't increase once you've built the right product. So I view it a little. The short answer is yes. What's the ideal margin we expect? That remains to be seen, but I do expect it to be in double digits, as opposed to like traditional trading, which could be single digits and could go up to double digits. But I think software generally starts at the double digit margin. But the more important thing, as I mentioned, was all of that is moot until we find the right product market fit. So a lot of our focus and attention is building things that people want and validating with them, and then scaling and launching to more and more stakeholders.
Okay, thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Mr. Nikunj Patil. He's asking, can you walk us through your IPO roadmap and the main objectives behind the fundraise?
Yeah, I mean, I think our merchant banker, Mr. Bhuvan, already explained the key timelines for the IPO. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to repeat that. But in terms of the fundraise, utilization of funds, roughly the issue size is for 3.7 crores. Right. Out of that, the majority of the funds are actually reserved for our ERIS platform, right? Almost close to 15 crores of that, 14.5 to be precise, is reserved for the next stage development of the ERIS platform. That obviously includes a lot of these features and commercialized technology products that Saurabh was mentioning. It also includes doing enhancements to digitize the supply chain even further. So we want to introduce things like post sales quality checks, all of that. Also get all of those digitized. We want to bring in more partners, more freight forwarders, more invoice financing onto the platform as well. And then obviously there's the whole thing around using our backbone of ERIS, which is our expertise and digitization of import, export, logistics, all of that, and recyclables to create new verticals beyond paper, right? Whether that be plastics or metals or even e-waste, that remains to be seen. So that's one. The second one is obviously a working capital. So 9 crores of the IP proceeds are essentially reserved for working capital, with another 6.5 crores for our GCP, general corporate purpose expenses. And then we have got roughly around 7 crores reserved for capital investments, specifically investment in our office space, because one of the key things, given the strategic nature of our platform ERIS, is we want to bring in the team in-house even more. So that will require hiring a few more people, which will necessitate us to get a bigger office space.
Okay, thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. Ms. Chaitanya Deshpande is asking, how do you coordinate with foreign yard partners to ensure smooth supply chain?
I mean, that's the point. That's the part around where the operational excellence comes into place. Three things. One is, like I said, we actually have physical presence and subsidiaries. So that means we are never very far away from these yards and suppliers. I mean, if I can give you guys a small example, I live in London. Just in UK alone, we have a network of more than 20 yards that I'm in touch with regularly, and me and my team make a point to visit most of them, if not all of them, at least once a quarter, right? So that obviously helps build a relationship and rapport on the ground level side. And then obviously from a coordination perspective, this is where our freight forwarding logistic partners come in, right? Who are able to coordinate with the yards to make sure that the right loading windows, shipping, all of that. And like I said, with ERIS and with some of the features that we want to develop further post the IPO raise, we expect this to become more and more smoother. So things like digital waste tracking, digital loading windows, digital annexures, all the documentation on digital shipping tracking, all of that. It's only going to make the coordination with our foreign partners as well as our local mill partners smoother.
Okay, thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Miss Aditi Menon. She's asking okay. So she's saying very she's saying very nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kiran, and all the very best to the management. Yeah.
We appreciate that message. Thank you.
Thank you.
Samar Dalal says thank you for the great prompt answers.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Shankar says looking forward to the IPO. Yeah. So, sir, I think we have covered most of the questions here. So thank you, Anshul sir. Thank you, Saurabh sir. And thank you all the viewers. And all the best for your IPO, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for everyone who tuned in. Thank you for facilitating, Mr. Sai. And I hope we were able to answer all your questions. And we will be around, and we'll see you. We hope to see you again.
Thank you so much, everyone.